Hello, this is Jeff Altgilbers. It's April 7th, Monday Mentoring, and I'm so glad you friends made this call. And, out of your busy schedule, I know you got a lot going on in your lives, a lot of great things going on in For Life because we got such a great company and such a great product line. I mean, I'm really getting to, appreciate that more and more as time goes on because I see other companies declining and we continue to break records. Well, let me introduce myself just in case there's some new people on that you don't know me. I'm Jeff Altgilbers, and I'm a Platinum International Diamond with For Life Research, and I've been with the company now over 15 years. So I've been able to watch this grow, and it's still a small company compared to some of the other companies out there like Herbalife and New Skin and Amway and all that. That simply means there's a lot of opportunity there that you can take advantage of. And that's important. That's important. You can always give it the acid test, and that is go out and just ask anybody you run into, whether you're at the mall or you're at the beach or if you're at the gym, ask them if they've ever heard of For Life. Have they ever heard of Transfer Factor? I guarantee you that if you interviewed 1,000 people, you probably wouldn't find one. So that tells you how much opportunity we really have here. And what that means is this company is going to create probably we're going to break all the records. If we're breaking the records in growth, and we're certainly going to break the records in terms of how many millionaires we're going to be breaking. But, of course, not everybody wants to be a millionaire, and you don't have to be. There's a lot of people that are very content to earn $5,000 or $10,000 a month, and they have other things they do with their lives. So whatever it is that you're looking for in this opportunity, that's what we want to do. We want to help you achieve that. And that's the purpose of these Monday night calls, is to mentor your success. Tonight, I wanted to talk about becoming a peak performer. In other words, performing at our best in what we do in network marketing. I find it's very much just like a sport. Just like anything that anybody would train to go to the Olympics. And they do the same things every day. Every day. They master the basics. But the disciplines, and they have to watch their diet. They have to keep themselves in shape. They have to have a positive attitude. All those are necessary disciplines if they're going to become a peak performer. And when you think about becoming a peak performer in this business, it's the same thing. When we look at the people that make it to the top, they're simply people that have mastered these fundamentals. And I want to talk about some of these fundamentals. Maybe not everything in detail because I try to keep the call at 30 minutes. But I'd like to talk about, again, what those disciplines would be. First of all, one thing I've noticed that some people have a real challenge with, and that is focus. Focus. That is waking up every day, and then they have an agenda. They know what they're going to do in this business. From the time that they get out of bed in the morning, they have an agenda. That's really important for you leaders to do that. Who are you going to talk to? Or what is your prospecting plan? Whether you've been in For Life now for, let's say, 8 years, 10 years, maybe you went through a lot of your warm market, well, then obviously you're developing new relationships, and that needs to be your prospecting plan. Always developing new relationships with people that you meet, people that you can meet, ways to meet people, and then being prepared when you do meet them. That is, what about that trifold brochure in your back office? Make sure that you order those and you have them on hand. You got to be prepared so that if you're a woman, you can just simply pull it out of your purse or your bag, your handbag, and you can share that with somebody. It has your phone number. It has your web address. Anytime you can get their information, like a business card, something like that, and they're willing to exchange it, then always do that. Again, keep in mind, when we talk about developing new relationships with people, that's just what it is. And that means, that we get to know something about that person. And again, as I mentioned in the past, anytime you can pay somebody a compliment, they become very open to share their information with you. That they might look like a person who's very successful, or you dress very nice. If you don't mind me asking, what is it you do? You take an interest in that person. Then they're more open to sharing their information with you. The other thing, too, is keep in mind, if you're working also through social media platforms, whether it's, it could be Facebook, it can be anything. Keep in mind, it's not enough just to take our 10-minute prospecting video and just leave the link on somebody's, page, or to send them a message with that link. Again, if you don't have a relationship with them, the odds of them really looking at that and being interested, they're not going to be very good. What we have to do is we have to develop some kind of relationship. I'm not talking about something that's going to take weeks, months, years, anything like that. But again, it's the same principles that if you met somebody in person at Starbucks or the mall, you would apply those same principles in Facebook or any other social media platform. You pay them a compliment. Remember, these principles go back to 1927, how to win friends and influence people. The principles remain the same, and that is pay them a compliment, say something good, try to start it on a positive note, making a good impression on them, and then get back with them. And if they have a passion for music or photography or whatever are those things they see, and you want to send them a link of something that that they'll be interested in, then it's so easy to send them another link and say, hey, I really enjoy getting to know you. You seem like a person that, you really know what you want in life. If you don't mind, I'd like to share this with you and see what your thoughts are, because to me, you look like a person who would be very great at this. And again, it can be the product as well. Keep that in mind. Certainly, we push opportunity. But we also know that the foundation of our business is definitely our product line. If we did not have the kind of products that we have now, we would not be doing what we're doing now. And so that is our foundation. So, it's your judgment call. But again, I'm going back to focus. To focus means we have to have an agenda when we wake up, and an agenda. When we begin a week, from Monday to the end of the week, we need to know where we want to be on Friday. If you want to take the weekend off and don't want to talk to anybody about For Life, I don't blame you. So feel good about that. It's okay to take a rest from this. If you don't, you'll just burn out. You will. So there's a time to sow, a time to reap, and then there's a period of, like a time to rest. And then that's okay. You can choose when you want to do this work. But when you're out and about, always be prepared so that you have something to share. I've heard that success is simply when preparedness and opportunity meet at the same time. And if you look at people that are successful, they were people that were prepared. And so when they met somebody, you never know where that's going to be, and you have a good feel about that person, you want to make sure you have your tools with you. And guys, you can put those brochures in your back pocket at work, or when you go out and about in town. If you're going to Lowe's or Home Depot, whatever you do, you can have those with you. It's so easy to share that. And you can do that also with your business card too. But again, anytime you can get their information, that's great, because you can do the follow-up. Plus, hopefully, you get their email address, then you can just email them the link. So have an agenda. Now, here's another thing about focus. And some people make the mistake thinking that they can do multiple network marketing programs. That's a big mistake. We cannot ride two horses and win a derby race. Now, you can ride 2 horses and be in a circus, but is that what you want your life to be like, a circus? I know you don't. I know I certainly don't. We have to make a career choice, and then we have to decide which company that we're going to, give it our passion. But I've seen people do that where they treat this thing like multiple lotteries. This is not a lottery. This is a business. And like any business, we have to be focused on our business and what we do. I remember when I got started with For Life, I had a lot of people calling me, different people that I knew over the years, and they were doing different programs. And they were calling me, hey, Jeff, you got to look at this. Man, the compensation plan in this company is unbelievable. You heard of binary? Well, this is a trinary. I mean, they come up with all these words and why this plan is so perfect and why it's going to make you rich. Well, I'm not the smartest guy out there, that's for sure. But I got some common sense, and common sense tells me that a company can only pay out so much, and then that's it. That's all they can do. If they pay beyond that, they're going to be out of business. For Life pays out 64%. That's very good. I don't know too many companies paying out 64%. If you look at some of the network marketing companies that are publicly traded, the payout is so low. We're talking about under 30%. If we're talking about like companies like Amway, and well, actually there's many, and that pay out so little. Even some of the binaries that are publicly traded, they're paying out 34% max. I think was that USANA, if I remember. But there's just several out there. So the thing about it is, companies can only pay out so much, and then after that, then they're headed for broke. So I had enough common sense to know that. And when people would approach me about other companies back then when I got started in For Life, I simply said, listen, hey, stop. Before you get into this conversation, listen, I respect what you're doing, but here's the thing. I'm focused. And you know this. You can't make money or be successful in any company if you're not focused, right? Well, they'll agree to that. Well, then here's the thing. I wish you all the success. I do. But let's just do this because we care about one another, right? I'll get back with you, and you get back with me in a couple of months, and let's just keep up with how we're doing, And if either one of us are not doing well, then the other can help them out. How about that? Well, that was always what my comeback was on that. And that always worked for me. But I had to use that because it was a thing that people always wanted to disrupt my day. And my day was to get on to my agenda, and then people try to hit me with another program. Well, I don't have time to listen to other people's programs. If I do that, then I'm not prospecting, and also I'm not helping my downline. And I should be doing that. That's really what I should be doing, helping those people who've come into my business that have helped build my future. I certainly want to pay that back to them and help build their future. The other thing is when people do multiple programs, their credibility is lost. Their friends see them coming, then they want to run because it's always now another company. I've seen many people do that. Well, nature teaches us the power of focus. We might remember when we were children, we'd take a magnifying glass and concentrate it on a piece of paper with the help of the sun, right? And what would happen? The paper would burn up, wouldn't it? But if we took that magnifying glass and we just kept moving it around and we didn't keep it in one spot, what would happen? Not a thing, because it's not focus. And if we want our business to burn, if we want momentum, and that's just what we've got to do. We've got to get focused. You might remember the movie Rocky. If some of you remember that years ago, I hope it wasn't too too long ago. But I always loved that. There was like 5. I think he did 5 movies, Rocky. But I remember in the first 2, you might remember the old man that was training him on grease lightning, speed, how to move fast as he, so he could fight well. And you remember how he trained him? He trained him by a chicken. He took him back in the alley, and then Rocky just thought it was stupid. You know, he had this cage with a chicken in it, and he says, "Why am I back here? What is this about?" And he's, "Well, what's that chicken?" You know, and he held up that chicken. He says, "If you can catch this chicken, you will have grease lightning." And he thought it was, you know, beneath him. He thought it was embarrassing, but he threw the chicken out, and man, that chicken was moving. And he told him, "Catch it, catch it." Well, you remember, if you saw the movie, Rocky went after that thing, and finally he stopped running after it because he was out of breath. He realized how hard it was to catch one chicken. Well, if you remember toward the end of the movie, just right before he fought the heavyweight champion of the world, he finally caught that chicken. You remember, he was holding it up and down, jumping up and down. He was so proud of himself that he caught that chicken. Think about it. Think about it. That's focus. And that's how he won a fight. But let me ask you this. If that manager had two chickens out there and said, I want you to catch two. If you can catch two, you'll be a winner. Would that be possible? Well, I know you're saying no, that would not be possible. You know, it took all he could in the skills that he developed just to catch one. And in our business, we've got to do that too. Once we find the opportunity of a lifetime, like For Life Research, we stay focused on it. We got to teach our people to be focused on it. Where they fall into this fallacious reasoning is they'll say, well, this company doesn't compete with For Life. For example, this network marketing company is a telecommunications company, or it's a travel company, or it's some other, high-tech or lifestyle company that is not nutritional, and so it doesn't compete. Well, that reasoning sounds okay, but they have to understand one thing. We are in the people business. I'm not in the nutrition business. So we are competing for people. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And so I can't go back to my people and say, now, on Monday I want you to do For Life, and on Tuesday I want you to do this phone program. Hey, guess what? On Wednesday, do travel that day. Thursday, you go back to For Life. Well, it's just plain nonsense. If we're not focused, we're never going to be successful. And we've got to teach our leaders the importance of being focused. Now I'm going to shift it to something else that will help us. We talked about focus. I want to talk about balance. And I'm going to go back to that same movie. If you remember in that same movie, Rocky, the old man, his trainer, he tied a string around both of his ankles. And he told him that when he was in the ring with a person that was working out with him in boxing, he said, if you break the string, get my words right tonight, if you break that string, you've lost your balance. It took a lot. It took time. But he finally learned that balance. When we think about it, we need balance in our lives, because who we are as a person will affect our business. Because if we're not balanced, we'll become very extreme in our thinking. We can drive our friends away, our leaders away, our spouse away, maybe even our cats and dogs. But I've seen leaders do it. In my lifetime, over in the years of network marketing, I've even seen it in For Life, where leaders would become very extreme. We have to find our center, as the Chinese say. And that center is really in 4 areas. And I've touched on this before, maybe not in the same context, but I thought it was worth bringing up again tonight on the subject of peak performance in network marketing and how we achieve peak performance in network marketing. So in those 4 areas, the first would be emotional needs. And we all have emotional needs in this business. The need for love, for example. That in the Bible it says God is love. It doesn't say that he can love. He does love. It says he is love. It's his very essence. And we are in his image. So therefore, we have a very strong need that is an emotional need, to share our lives with others and to experience things. That's a good thing. We can't get so busy in this business that we don't take time out for that. We need to take time out for that. We can't do For Life, like I mentioned earlier, 7 days a week, just constantly on the run. Now, I'll have to say, when I got started, my first 90 days, yeah, sure, I pushed it hard. But there's no way in the world I can maintain that kind of a schedule. I couldn't do it. But I understood. I wanted to give it a strong push, and then after that, then I wasn't working it as hard. And in other words, instead of working at 7 days, I went to 5. Eventually, I went to 4. Eventually, I went to 3. So the thing is, we've got to take time out to experience things and to share things. And then, and if you're married and if you have children, you certainly want to take time out for your family. Yeah, I remember that expression that a man goes around the world in search of what he wants, and he goes home to find it. It's really true. I remember one time we had a platinum retreat in Hawaii, and I made the comment about this very fact. I said, we as platinums cannot forget why we got in this business. Why did we do this? What was the compelling motivation for us to want to go to the top of this company? And it was because we loved our families. We cannot lose sight of that. We can't get so busy in this that we neglect the very reason why we did it. And I saw Yadira and Damaris, their heads were going up and down. They were agreeing, and then later they told me they appreciate what I said because how true it is. So we have to take time to be able to spend time with our families, with our children, do the things that we love. And again, if you're single and you're dating, and then spend time. Spend some meaningful time with that person and nurture that relationship. Because what it's going to do, it's going to give you the kind of emotional thrust that you're going to need in this business. And you're going to need it in this business. I've seen it with some leaders when they've gone through divorce. It really defocuses them from the business. And, it's, of course, they can come back. That's once they get beyond it. We certainly need to support our leaders when we see them going through things like emotional trauma, whatever it is. But if you're single and say, hey, you know what? I don't want a partner. That doesn't mean you don't have emotional needs, though, because you do. So find out who you are. That's the beauty of this business, is you'll be able to take this business and ignite it. And it might be that you might be a talented painter. You might want to grow a rose garden. You might want to be a songwriter. At the age of 51, I took time out for my first time in my whole life, my whole 51 years of living, of writing songs. And I wrote over 50 songs just in a few years. I would have never imagined that I would do that. But I took time out. It was a lot of fun, in between events and getting together with musicians and going in a studio. Well, the second area that we have to find balance, and that is our intellectual needs. The old saying, a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and it's true. The mind's like a muscle, and if we don't use it, then it's just going to deteriorate. So what we need to do is we need to set a goal. Every month, read a book. Every month. I bought a book the other day and looked at it. It didn't take me a month to read it. I looked at it, and after a few days on and off of looking at it, I got the content out of the book that I was interested in. Also, audio books when you're driving. That's a great time to be able to catch up and hear a book, think about a book. I even started to have a nap with my 5-year-old son today, and I put on one of Anthony Robbins' CDs, and I sat in bed just listening to it. I just wanted to just lay down, rest a little bit, but at the same time, my mind was just going. It was, It was even hard for me to even get any rest because I was getting excited. But we need to do that. We need to grow. And certainly he was a mentor of mine, Anthony Robbins, Jim Rohn. If you haven't listened to or read some of Jim Rohn's books, John Maxwell, there's so many good ones out. They wrote excellent books. So, and you may have some authors that you're crazy about too. That's fine. So the thing is, we need to grow, and we also need to, disconnect from negativity, from the news. Do you ever hear good news? I don't hear good news. It's always bad. So we want to connect to positive things. And certainly, when we talk about our intellectual and emotional needs, that also has to do with the people that we're around. We want to make sure that those people have a positive influence on us. I remember I was doing a meeting one time, and I said, divorce yourself from negative people. And a man stood up in the back and said, that's my wife. Oh, it was a funny meeting. But it's really true. We have to keep growing. We have to keep feeding our mind. The third is, our spiritual needs, and we all have them. We have a deep need to connect with our Creator, regardless of what your religious affiliation is. Regardless of that, there is a need for that, and there's a time for that. And so take time for that. Take time to draw close to your Creator and spend time. Do that. Just realize that, if you get them behind what you do in your lifetime, it can make a big impact on your business. The fourth was physical needs. If the body is not healthy, how does that affect our mind? I've got, a friend or two friends I can think of right now going through cancer, and certainly that has a big toll on their health. We have to take care of our physical body. It is so important. I'm finally glad that I got a personal gym in my house. I love it. I think that's my most favorite place in my whole house. I just love that gym. I can go down there, crank up that music, and go after it. And then after that, go sit in a sauna when I'm finally finished. Sit in a sauna for about 30 minutes and detox. But you know what? You don't have to own a gym to do that. You can go, you've got local gyms where you are. Even in where I am, there's a lot of rec centers here, and it really, there's not much cost at all whatsoever. But we have to dedicate some time. And if you say, well, I really don't even have the time to go to a gym, well, then you know what? Kick yourself out the front door, whether you do it in the morning or you do it in the evening when you come home, and do a good workout in terms of, an aggressive walk. Get yourself breathing, oxygenate your body. But take care of your body, your physical needs, and that also has to do with our diet. If we start eating too much junk food, and we certainly don't want to do that, but if we do, we have to understand we'll reap what we sow. Junk in, junk out, right? So we need to take care of our body. And also, we need to take our products, our 4-Life products. I've known leaders not to really even take the products. Of course, I also understood there was a reason why they weren't growing. Because you can't sell a lie. And you have to be passionate about our products. That's the way I feel about it. And I'm very passionate about it. I don't know how many of the 4-Life products I take. It's a lot. But I love it, and I believe in our products, and I believe in our science, and I believe in the research scientists behind our product line. They're doing a fabulous job. But we have to take care of ourselves. When we do that, when we take care of our body, and it's a temple, when we take care of that, how does that impact your mind? Have you ever noticed that when you work out and all that, how mentally you have a clearer way of thinking, don't you? It also, therefore, affects your emotions, doesn't it? Because you feel better. That, in turn, affects your spirituality. So it cycles. It's a constant cycle. Each of the four feeds the other. So if we're doing that, if we're taking time for that, for those 4 areas there, then we're going to be in balance. And that's again going to help us stay focused too. Stay focused on the very thing that we want, and we'll be a peak performer. We'll be very successful in this business that we see so many of our leaders doing well in, and that's what I want to see for you too. I want to see all of you be successful in this business. I mentioned earlier, and I'll say this now, if you have any questions, you can message me on 4Life, because I've got my message box open. I'd be glad to answer any question that anybody had. So far, I haven't gotten that, so then I'm going to assume everybody's got, I guess they don't have any questions tonight, and that's fine. I want to wish all of you all the success this week. Make sure that you have an agenda. Work out your agenda. Have a plan. If we fail to plan, then we plan to fail. We certainly don't want to do that. But a month can go by so fast. We're in a new month now. It's exciting. It's exciting to see what's going on. I was hearing this morning from some of my leaders in some of the remote part of India, and I mean, these people, I mean, they drive gravel roads. I mean, they're in the mountains. I mean, they're not exactly online people. They have to go to an internet cafe to send me messages. But it's just amazing. One group started doing over 60,000 life points this month. I see it happening. I see it happening in different parts of the world, the way people are taking this so seriously now. And now with our system in English, in Spanish, Portuguese, Korean, and Tagalog, there's just so much tools that we have right now. Really, there isn't any reason why we can't achieve the very things we want to achieve and be a peak performer. Well, thanks for being on the call tonight. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it up, but I'm going to stop the recording, and then that way I'm just going to let you talk. You can say goodnight, say what you want, but thanks for being on the call, everyone.